been given them any information, even though they've got the clearance to know?
We are trying to get this information. We are requesting this information as part of the legal case of people who were arrested at the depot. They are trying to get this information to use as part of their defense of why it is that they did what they did that got them arrested.
What we do know about the depot is that they have 4 different kinds of nuclear specialists listed in their handbook of occupations at the depot. We do know that it has been identified as a transcontinental shipment spot by the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. We know that. People say, well, you know, how do you know that they're there? We still don't know, in the sense that we haven't seen them in the nose, in the flesh. We haven't, no one's seen them. But there's a real desolate area called the Q zone that has these bunkers that looks like, you know, they've stored radioactive waste here before, and they have the kind of facilities that they would need here to store them. So for all practical purposes, one would guess that that, in fact, is the case. We have had people from the inside of the depot, I don't know what their clearances are, who have said, in fact, we are right, there are nuclear weapons there, and that's all we can really tell you.
Probably also relevant is the fact that, despite this information, there are already facts that there are these listed personnel and these connections with nuclear weapons theories. Despite this, for the last 2 years, the head, in fact the whole staff of New York State Civil Defense, which is centered in Albany, and which is the body paid for by New York Staters' taxes, to prepare a plan for saving New Yorkers in the event of a nuclear war or nuclear weapons exchange. This Department of Civil Defense has listed and prepared plans for every region in New York State excepting for the Seneca Army Depot. This place does not exist even in the eyes of our official state agency. That should leave you with some questions to think about.
There was a 9-year-old boy that was standing outside of the depot, and one of our women went over to talk to him and said, well, what do you think of all of this and all the nuclear stuff and whatever? And he said, well, I figure since I live right across from the depot that if it's blown up, I'll go fast. I'm not worried. 9 years old. Did you have?
Yeah, could you speak to the issue of conversion, which I know is one of your major points?
As I understand what this depot does, this depot takes old missiles and makes them new again. It's a facelift place. Consequently, the machinery that's there is machinery that updates things, okay? And there has been a lot of speculation that this machinery could be used to take other plants, other depots, and their machinery and use that, change that, turn that into other kinds of machinery. Now, some of the conversion that happens, some of the plants, major kinds of things, they're talking about converting into bus factories, building trains, doing that kind of thing. There's a company in California called Accurex. In 1965, they were 100% military and defense contracts. And in 1981, they were 85% converted. So in 16 years, they converted. That's 100% to 85 the other way. I mean, that's a total reversal and flip-flop, okay? And what they can do, if they study the kind of materials that they have in the plant, the kind of personnel that they have in the plant, and do a real accurate study of all that, for the most part, these depots and these military contractors can be easily converted to other kinds of civilian uses. The way that we do it, though, is we're already working in such abstracts that we don't have to talk about people being killed, about missiles. We can talk about it in other kinds of words using other language so that we really don't need to talk about it. One place in figuring out military contracts use green pins. And the green pins